Hello everyone! Let's take a look together at all the watercolor pages that I created as part of Lacey Walker's book. And I'm also going to try and share with you some of the learnings I took from them and what I enjoyed about painting those pages. First of all, I truly recommend this book. It was the first watercolor book that I completed. And it is really step-by-step and beginner-friendly with clear lessons, and also the pages are traced and you don't have to draw in pencil anything. Nonetheless, let's take a look at what I painted as part of it and what the experience was like. Here we have the contents in the preview with all the paintings that I learned how to create as part of this experience. And I can say that some of them turned out to be different than this, but it's good. Of course, there were several learnings I took from there, and overall it was a great experience. Good. The first one, it was about getting from pink to blue and seeing the in-between colors. This was the first painting. I didn't rip it out yet from the other pages, and you can see up there. Otherwise, it was a really nice experience to see how colors are turning from pink to, I think this was ultramarine, or I don't know exactly what blue it was. Let me check. Phthalo blue. Anyway, this was a nice experience, and I think I'll try this exercise again with other colors just to see how they turn out. And for this I only used this Winsor & Newton watercolor palette. You can see it's quite well worn in some colors because I only used a few of them as part of the instructions and as part of learning how to mix watercolors, which was a huge part of the experience. And yeah, I also discovered the palette with this occasion, and understanding better how colors work. All right. The next one with the mountains that are on the cover as well. Here. The contrast is quite nice, and I enjoyed a lot how we could add some other shades here and there. Something that I wouldn't have thought of myself. This is applicable for a lot of the pages that we are talking about today, and I enjoyed it. This was about learning wet on wet techniques using different levels of wetness for the paper. For me, it was a bit stressful to see so many puddles of water on the paper, and it's really good to exactly understand how the watercolors are working for you and what we are working with. It was good. This landscape with some mountains and with taking away some of the blue from the sky with a napkin. It's also quite nice and going to be repeated. This one is about painting a landscape, and I felt like the colors were still a little bit muted. And for this I tried to replicate it again in my sketchbook that is 25% I think cotton paper, so not 100%, but the paper is a little bit different. And this is what I came up with. It's a little bit more contrast and a little bit more granulating maybe as well. Something to be replicated again for sure as part of exercises in sketchbooks with different colors, so that's on the list. Okay. A pretty flower, also tracing with some pen these smaller ones. This was the first time when I used salt in watercolor painting. It was a nice, interesting experience. It was a fine salt, and I liked the effect that it's giving, and I couldn't remove it all, and you can still see part of the salt stuck to the paper. I'm grateful to having tried this technique as well. With these peaches I had a little bit of a trouble. I think I worked a bit too slow or something happened, because the part from the interior is a little bit wonky. Nonetheless, I enjoyed painting the smaller lines and understanding the brushes. As brushes, mostly I used this one. It has a pretty clear point, and Princeton Neptune collection. Yeah, I enjoyed that pencil, that brush. For this peony, when I saw it, it stressed me a bit when I saw it initially. I was thinking that it's quite hard to paint it, and on one hand it was quite easy because it's step by step, and Lacey took care to explain everything in detail. On the other hand, I may have worked a little bit too slow as well on this one, because the blue lines were a little bit too harsh. Nonetheless, the little bulbs I think turned out really great, and I think the green was created from blue and a brown, if I remember correctly. And this is something that I never tried in the past, to mix green from blue and brown, but let me check so that I'm not saying anything that's not relevant. Just a second. Yeah, I think it was with burnt sienna and phthalo blue. Yeah, 50-50. Good. Nice experience. I mean, it's clear what it is, and this part here, I really like it. Okay, for this next one, we had the leaves, and the leaves have multiple types of greens and yellows and blues, and all mixed from the same couple of colors. And to this I especially enjoyed putting it with a pink background. It's not something that I would have thought of, and it's something that I appreciate, just to be bold with colors and try something new that may be coming out quite good. And I enjoy the contrast between the greens and the pink. I was also a bit stressed about this one with the birds, and I postponed it quite a bit, because I started painting from this book I think last year in November, and I just finished it, so I took my time with it and did some other things in between. And nonetheless, this painting turned out to be quite useful, because I painted another branch with birds a couple of weeks ago, and I knew to add this shadow with a blue, so that it gives some depth to the branches, and that came out to be useful in other scenarios as well, so that's nice. For this other painting, I also enjoyed working with the greens and the blues and seeing how they are mixing out, and letting colors flow, something that's not coming naturally to me that much. And I think it was a good experience and a good learning opportunity, and I just have to remember, or I'll come back to the book and learn a bit more again. Okay, here we have a wreath of leaves and small fruits or something, and it was nice creating the colors. I like that they're a little bit muted. What I didn't like that much about how this turned out for me is that I think I added a bit too much water when creating the circles, and that they are not that perfect, but then again it happens, and I can just try again. Okay, little butterfly with a flower. Also, as for the previous ones, I enjoyed a lot creating the shadows within this part of the flower with some blues, something that I wouldn't have thought of. I mean, I would have added a brown shade or something, but I wouldn't have added a blue shade. And this is something that I learned a part of this book, just to add some things that are complementary and that are helping pull the picture together. With these feathers, this was the first time when I used masking fluid, and I think I did something wrong. Even if I let it dry for 1 day, maybe the layer was too thin, because I had some issues removing the masking thing. Anyway, this is what I used. I used this masking marker. Maybe it was too fine, maybe the layers were too thin, but I had some issues removing it. And when I tried to remove it with the paper, I also removed part of the color from the middle of the feathers. Either way, this was the first time when I used such a medium, and maybe with experience I'm going to try again and see what turns out. Okay, for these dogs, this was done in layers, another technique that I didn't quite use that much, and it was nice to see how they are coming to life with these layers. And I think I firstly created this layer, so basically painting the entire page with this color, afterwards adding something closer to this color, and afterwards adding the blackish part, and finishing everything with the small details with the eyes and the nose and so on. And I think that they are looking like very happy dogs. For this moon, I think it was also created using a mix of blue with something else, and you can see that the blue is coming out, and that is popping on the page, and maybe it's a little bit more a blue shade than a darkish blue or towards black. Nonetheless, I think it was quite a good experience to learn, and this can be recreated, of course. Here we have some labradorite stones, and with this I learned that I wasn't that patient in that day, and I wanted to finalize it maybe a little bit quicker than I did. And you can see that I think I added a bit too much water, and the colors bled more towards the outside of the painting, and I don't know, maybe the colors are a little bit wonky, but nonetheless I enjoyed mixing such colors and seeing the result. Here we have a nice landscape. It looks like something from the northern hemisphere, the northern part of the northern hemisphere somehow. I enjoyed also painting this one. I enjoyed creating these trees and various layers of green and blue and dark gray. Here my cat just drew on some pink. She took out some pink from the palette, and she decided she wanted to step on the painting, and therefore I added the clouds in order to try and cover the pink part, because it wasn't coming out anymore. In my opinion, that is adding to its charm, and it's adding to the experience and the history of the book. And the last one with some fruits. Again, I think that the colors are really bold and powerful, which is amazing. In my opinion, this looks a little bit like salami. It was the first time when I painted the insides of an orange like that, and I wouldn't have thought of it, so I appreciate the learning experience, and I appreciate again how the colors were mixing, and how we can create art where we might have not imagined a color combination. So for me it was a great experience. I also recommend all of Lacey's videos. You can find her at Rebel Unicorn Craft, and I learned a lot along the way. To me it was a really good experience, and I took my time with creating everything, and yeah, I think that it's a good addition to anybody who wants to try a little bit more to learn watercolor. You can see her here. It was really a delightful and accessible painting experience, and I'm looking forward to looking at 1 year from now and see how things have improved even further in what it concerns my experience with watercolors. And this book for sure was like a milestone in my learning experience. Alright, so thank you so much for watching and for getting through the paintings with me, and hope I'm going to see you on the next one. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye bye.